What's going on, everyone? Gilman with Wellthy Stocks back with our weekly Tesla update video where we take a look back at the past week and take a look at how Tesla stock traded, some key support and resistance levels that we have coming up in the Tesla stock, and based on that, what we think Tesla stock could do. So real quick, if you enjoy videos like this, hit that like button down below, subscribe to my channel if you are new, and comment down below what your thoughts on Tesla are, and I'd love to chat with you guys down there. So let me hit record and we will get right into it. So Tesla closed the week slightly green on Friday, $1.65, which is 0.2%, up another 26 cents in the after hours. But let's take a look at how Tesla stock traded in the previous 5 days. It was a shortened week, so it's actually 4 days of trading that we'll be looking at. I don't know why these two kind of outliers come up. But essentially, we started Tuesday the 19th. Let me get rid of the indicators for us in just a second. Right, pretty flat. We opened in the 830s, closed a little bit higher. And then we pushed up to the 860s, got rejected by the upper line that we'll take a look at on the daily chart, and then started to push right back down, broke below our level, and then closed here in the 850s. And then let's get rid of that again. Yeah, so on Thursday, right, what we saw was a little bit of a push down, hung out around this 847 level, and then Friday we dropped to our lower 828 level and then pushed up. So Friday was actually a perfect trading day for Tesla because it really closely adhered to the levels that we had set. So bounced off the 820s that we had, the 829 level, and then the top rejection was that 840s, which is exactly kind of where we have our levels. So if you guys watch my videos and have the same levels, could have picked up a couple of day trades and done pretty well there. Now let's take a look at kind of the bigger picture, what we have developing. So this is a pretty important week for Tesla for a couple different reasons, right? The first one, obviously, we've got earnings coming up in 3 days on January 27th, along with other big tech names this week like Microsoft, Apple, Facebook. We've got Tesla reporting earnings as well. So it should be a pretty crazy week in the market. That could be good or bad depending on how earnings turn out, right? So if we take a look here, starting on 1/8, which is January 8th, what we have is a little bit of a bull pennant forming. We've got this line from the top coming in. We've got this line from the bottom coming up. It's getting to a very narrow range. And the past couple of days, it has adhered to it perfectly, right? If we take a look here, it dipped down. It did go below this line for a sec, but between the open and the close, that part of the candle is still within the bull pennant, which means it's pretty valid. Now, that means that either one of two things can happen in the near future. If this pattern works out, again, that's a big if. If you watch my Palantir update videos, right, we saw that pattern developing over the course of the past week, 2 weeks, and it finally broke out on Friday, right? So assuming this pattern also breaks out, right, if it breaks out, I think we push up, right? And I think that we push up, take out these all-time highs, and then maybe even make a new high after that, maybe hitting that 900 mark. Again, that's a big if, right? Not saying that this breakout is going to happen for sure, right? Because nothing's for sure. But we could see that breakout happening very soon. Or, right, if that breakout doesn't happen, for this pattern to still be valid, Tesla tomorrow has to trade in a very narrow kind of range. Right, so I think it'll be really interesting to see either way. It needs to trade between the 833s and the 849s, like that $17 range, which if you go over to these candles, right, it did do that kind of here. If we were to go here, right, and take a look at this horizontal line, it's perfectly kind of what we did a couple days ago. So it needs to either do that or we'll see a little bit of a breakout, or, right, this pattern will no longer be valid. So I think tomorrow and the next day are pretty important for Tesla stock in terms of that. In terms of just general support and resistance levels, not taking a look at this pattern if the stock were to trade regularly, right? We've got this 846, 847 level that we got rejected from on Friday. I think that will be a strong level for Tesla stock to kind of get through. The next level being 861. As the next resistance point, and then that takes us to the all-time high of 884, right? So 847, 861, and 884 are the levels that I'm watching from an upside On the downside, I'm watching this this line here, which is kind of in the 833 if the pattern still holds. If the pattern does not hold, we've got this 829, and then I'm looking at the 800 line kind of before going to 775. Those are the levels that I'm watching on the downside for Tesla stock if you want to just, maybe take a couple day trades. Now, I will say, be careful this week with earnings. Implied volatility gets pumped into options. So if you do decide to hold anything through earnings, you will probably see what's known as the IV crush. So just make sure you are aware of that and know, the kind of the repercussions of holding through earnings. Now, if Tesla sees a crazy beat and we gap up like Netflix did, you'll be fine. But if we don't see that, then your options could lose a little bit of value. So the reason I bring up these EMAs, as you guys know if you've watched my videos, is the 8 EMA, it always closes above, other than this time here. But if you take a look, right, we've always been above, not especially, since starting this run back in mid-November. So for November, second half, December, and so far in January, we've closed above the 8 EMA. We did drop below it a little bit on Friday, but we closed above it. That 8 EMA comes in at 835. I think it's really important for the stock to continue closing above that as we have seen, right? It's done that. So that's one thing that I'm looking for. If it dips below the 8, whether it comes up or not, since this trend has been going on for more than 2 months now. And then the last thing that I'll bring is my Tastyworks chart. As you guys know, here we're looking at the 15 EMA on the 4-hour chart, so 15 period EMA on the 4-hour chart, and the 180-day SMA on the 4-hour chart. And the reason I look at that is because if we scroll back a couple months, what we saw was, back in end of August, we broke below that 15 EMA, dropped all the way to the 180-day SMA, which was a drop from the 469 to kind of the 340s level, happening in here from the 430s to the 370s, right? So again, not saying that necessarily happens again, right? Because now it's included in the S&P 500, but still, history is something that I like to look at. Trends are something that I like to look at. So if we base it on that, right, our 15 EMA right now is at 843. So just, keeping my eye on that to make sure that we close above it. We are like $2 or $3 above it, so I'm not too worried just yet. Or, if we dip below it, if we can come back in a couple like 4-hour charts or 4-hour periods, that's fine too. But the 180-day SMA comes all the way in at $706. So that could be, not saying again, we fall all the way to that. Maybe we find support somewhere in the middle, but that's just something to keep in mind. It'll be a really interesting week, I think, for Tesla stock with earnings and kind of the guidance we get, right? That's what people care about. That's what investors care about more than, how did Tesla do this past quarter? That's cool. But what do we think Tesla's going to do in the next year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? That really is what drives the stock price up or down. So it'll be really interesting to see. And then let me get rid of these indicators and kind of just bring up our drawings for us. This wedge pattern, hopefully we see break, and then we see a breakout up in the next couple of days. Hopefully it's a break up and not a breakdown. But we'll see soon enough, and I'll keep you guys posted. But make sure to keep an eye out on that, because with Palantir as well, if you guys watch those videos, right? If we hit 850, we break above it, and we aren't showing indication of a push down towards this level, maybe we see the breakout already started, right? Similarly, if we break down below the 832, right, that and don't make it, any push up into this kind of pennant that's forming, the pattern is done. So downside pattern could be done. Upside, we could see the breakout already start. Just something to keep in mind. There's no kind of time to the breakout. It's just whenever it happens, right? Perfectly, it would get to the end and then break out. But we also have earnings in 3 days, so we could see the earnings run start as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me grow. Comment down below what your plays with Tesla are going to be this week into earnings. If you're looking to hold, if you're looking to, get out before earnings and the uncertainty that it brings. And I'd love to chat with you guys down in the comment section. Let's remember to be a bit better every single day. And until next time.